Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to learn the catalog client scripts and the UI policy. In previous sessions, we have learned the client script and the UI policy which execute at platform level. Here, these are the catalog scripts or client scripts and UI policy which actually implemented or execute at catalog layer. So, the concept remains same. Client scripts runs at browser layer and UI policy also runs at browser layer. So these are all client-side scripting. Once this course is done, we will move to the server-side script and we will learn the server-side scripting part. So in detail in this session, we will go to the catalog client script UI policy. We will understand the overview and the types of them, and when we can use the catalog client script and when we shall use the UI policy and some of the good practices, and we'll go to the practical. Okay, moving to next, the overview. So catalog client script runs at service catalog item form in the browser. Okay, so it is similar to the normal client script, but these are specific to the catalog items. So it executes by considering the variables and the record process. Some of the key points where it works on the service catalog item form, not directly on the task records. So it always execute as client side, browser side. Okay, so what all types we can use for? So in case we need to show the values of any of the catalog item variables, then we can use this. If we want to hide it, if we want to show the variables on the catalog item, we can use it. So variable is nothing other than the fields which are basically visible on the catalog items. Okay, if we want to make any of the variables mandatory or read-only, we can use the client script. Validating input before submission of the form, we can still use it. For some of the use cases, we can still use the UI policy. Like if we want to make it mandatory and read-only, we still can use the UI policy. But what if we want to do it for the multiple fields at a time? That point of time, we can use client scripts. So let's go to the UI policy. These are similar to the normal UI policies which executes always at form layer. So similar to the UI policies, it controls the visibility, read-only and the mandatory. These are the three primary states that can be managed well through UI policies. This does not require any scripting. It only requires some of the configurations. So we'll have a look on the tool, how we can do that. Okay, it works on the variables, containers, multi-row variable sets, execute always at client side. Like it's very easy and clean than writing the client scripts. And here we always have another option, like when this UI policy does not meet, reverse become true. So if we make any of the variable as visibility true, and if that condition doesn't meet, and if we have that option like the make reverse false, then in case the condition doesn't meet, that become invisible. Different types, those types are same: on load, on change, on submit, on sell edit. These are the client script types. We have the similar types here. So on load always load, always run or execute when forms load. So whenever the form is loading, if you want to control the visibility of the fields, all that client catalog side script helps to achieve that outcome. When any of the variable value changes, we should use on change. If we submit the form before that, if we want to do the validation, like validating input before submission, we should use on submit. On sell edit, basically we use in the list view in a multi-row variables. Okay, so there we can control the visibility, the editness of those forms, make them read only through on sell edit catalog client script. So before we go to the practical, let's understand a little more like which policy we should use when. So when we have a complex logic, some of the calculations are there, some of the processing is there. When we have if-else sort of conditional branching, then we should use the catalog client script. That's the best fit we shall avoid the UI policy. So let's say dynamically we pull the multiple rows for a record, and we want to show some data on the catalog form, right? That point of time we can use the catalog client script to show the related or dependent. Sure, hide, read only, mandatory with a simple condition. We should always go for the UI policy rather than client script. If we want to dynamically populate the variable values based on the any other selections, we should go for the client script. If we need to block the submission or validate the input, we should use client catalog policies. Okay, now let's go to the ServiceNow and let's see where we can find the catalog client scripts in the UI policy and how we can apply it. These are some of the practical examples we can implement in this session. Let's pick first example where if user select the Sable client in optional software, then we need to automatically select the additional software requirement as this specific string, latest version of Sable client to be installed on the laptop. So we'll go to the catalog item sales laptop, and there we will find out where we have the Sable client, and if someone selected, you need to auto populate the text. So let's see, this is the sales laptop. So I am in maintain item. There we can go to the specific catalog definition. Okay, so I'm on the portal. Here I'm in sales laptop. So if someone selects Sable client, what we want is an additional software requirement. We want a specific text auto populate. That's a requirement. Okay, so to achieve this, if you go to this maintain item of this, we can see this particular checkbox, and on this particular checkbox, we specifically need to write the catalog client script. So what catalog client script will do, on selection of this Sable client, it will auto populate the additional software. Okay, so here you have the options to write the catalog UI policy and catalog client script. So I can select catalog client script, new. Okay, I can keep a descriptive name. So set additional software for Sable client. Okay, so this is on catalog item. UI type can be desktop, mobile, or off. For now, I just leave it. So when someone go and change it, right? So I can use on change. When I select the on change, it asks like on which variable I would like to apply this. So I can select this one, which is the backend name for this particular field. Okay, and then you can see this is auto populated. Here we only need to write that code to populate that specific field. But before we go there, we first need to understand what is the backend name of that particular field value of additional software. Okay, so let's find out the name. So I can again go to this maintain item, catalog item. Here I can see additional software requirement. Let's open this one, and I can see the variable name is software underscore requirement. Let's copy it. Let's go to our code. Okay, let's also notice the type of this symbol. So if I go back to this, let's have a look on this particular variable checkbox. So checkbox always have two values, either it should be true or false, right? Now let's write the code here in the catalog client script. So we can check if new value equals to true as in string, or new value equals to true as in boolean, right? Then what we need to do, so there are two ways to get the variables on the form. So if it would be a client script, I should use current. Sorry, if it would be server script, I should use current. But this is not a server script, right? As we discussed, client catalog scripts always runs at form layer. So what we need to do, g underscore form dot set value, and then we need to put the variable name as a first parameter. Let's put the variable name and comma whatever we want to set the value. So in our example, if we go, we want to set this latest version of Sable client to be selected, right? So I'll just write latest version of civil client to be selected here. Okay, so I have set this particular value. Let's save this code and let's try to execute. So I can again go back to this maintain one, and I can go and try. Okay, so on this selection, this is the value that got populated. Okay, so that's a quick example of catalog mistake. Okay, now let's understand or create one UI policy. What it says, make the version variable mandatory if the optional software is one of the below. So if someone select these three, then version field should be mandatory. So let's go back to ServiceNow and have a look on the version if we have it here. Okay, so I don't see a version field. Okay, so let's create one new version field here. So how we can go and create? I can go to maintain item and we can create a version field and that can be the text field. Okay, so to create it, we can go and click on new inside the variable, and let's have a look at the 40 is the order where we have the symbol, right? So single line text, and here we can create one version. Version could be okay. So name auto populates, right? And let's make it as 50 so that it should be next to the visible software. Okay, do you need anything else here? No, this is good. It's active and submit. So you can see here version is created, and if we go to the form view, so either on ESC portal or SP portal, wherever we want to find, we can find the catalog item, sales laptop, and we can see the version is populated. So what is the requirement is, this should only be visible when someone selects these three. If someone select the fourth option, it should not be visible, right? So let's create one UI policy where we will mention if someone select these three options, then only this should be visible. Otherwise, if someone select this option, then it should not be visible. Okay, so let's create one UI policy for this. So to create the UI policy, we need to go to catalog UI policy in this maintain item. Okay, and we can go and click on new. So this is the option which I was talking about earlier, reverse if false. So what we will do here, it does not require any code. Okay, only the small configuration we will do, and we will be able to achieve our requirements. So let's keep the short description very descriptive. So make version visible for software except zip. Okay, and here we can select. So see, there we can select like civil is not true, then it should show, right? But our requirement is if someone select the Photoshop, PowerPoint, or the Acrobat, then it should be true. So let's set the conditions accordingly. So if Acrobat is true, right, or if Photoshop is true, or if PowerPoint is true, then this will execute. Okay, so if any one of any of the software is true, then this become mandatory. Let's save this record. Let's read the requirement one more time. So make the version field mandatory if optional software is one of the below. Okay, so it's not the visibility, my bad. It's we need to make it mandatory. As of now, by default, it is not mandatory, right? So you can say it's not mandatory even I select any of the options. So let's follow this now. So here you can see once you save the record, you can see a catalog UI policy action is up. So here we can add to make it mandatory. So when we want to make it mandatory, it asks like which variable we would like to select. On that behavior will be implemented. So we have selected the version and make this mandatory. We are not selecting any other option. So if we don't select it, it will not be changed. So if any other policy is going to work on any of the other item, any of the other attributes, that will remain as it is. There will not be any change. Let's select it. So it's saved now. I can go back. Right now we can see one catalog policy action is mentioned where you can see the mandate is true. Here reverse is also false. That means if this condition does not match, then this will not be mandatory. Okay, I'm not writing any script. If you want to write any script regarding the visibility, then you can write it here. Okay, for now we will only go with the configuration part, and let's go to maintain item part, and then you can execute this. So I'm trying using the maintain item tried. You can also try from here, but sometimes because of the cookies settings, it doesn't work. Okay, so but yeah, we can try. After some time, when cookies gets clear its own and this is refreshed, it starts working. So you can see as of now, here as soon as I select, this become mandatory. If I unselect, this become non-mandatory. That's how you work with, right? If this value is there, then it's mandatory. If I select both, then also it's mandatory. Any one of them, if I select, it's mandatory, right? So as these three, one of these options are selected, so it's mandatory. Let's remove all of them, and you can see how the reverse false works. So if this is not true, that means the UI policy condition is not true, and it becomes mandatory. Hope that explains the catalog UI policy. So we have now seen the small configurations. Let's go with one more scenario here. And here the scenario is example 3. Catalog client script we will write on submit. Earlier we have written on change. Now we will write on submit, and we will do the validation. What validation we will do? We will see and we will block the submission if additional software requirement field is empty. Okay, so let's create a catalog client script and block the submission if this particular field is empty. So again, just to remind you how we can do that, we can go to catalog client script, create new, keep one good descriptive name. Okay, so submit only if software mentioned. Okay, and the type would be on submit. And here we can write any condition, whether it's any of the field validation or any other conditions, we can write it. Right? So how can we write it very quickly? So we will capture what information is filled up. So gform dot, there is a method we saw last time, set value. Similarly, we have the get value, and we are going to get the value of that software detail field. Let's quickly have a look on the name again. Okay, so software requirement. Yeah, software requirements. That's time is the variable. Software value, and I can optimize this one itself. So if software value is empty, then what we are going to do? return false. We are not going to submit the form, right? That's what we are going to do. And if everything is good, then we will go and submit it. Correct? And what we will do, we will have the additional prompt here. So let me add the bracket because I'm now writing the 2 lines. So I need to add these braces. And let's put alert. Form cannot be submitted with empty requirements. Okay, now let's save and execute. So now I am at maintain item. You can try it from here. And let's select some of the software. Let's put the version here 12 and submit with the blank one. So you can see we have print and first alert the value of this. So there is no value, so it's empty. And this says form cannot be submitted with the empty requirements, right? Let's submit this time. So let's say test requirements, and we can try again. Order now, and this populates what the value is, and it should go and submit. That's all. I think we are done here, and let's go through some of the good practices here. Okay, so it's very necessary to follow the best practice, and let's understand that. So use the UI policies for the simple behaviors, and we should only write the script when it's necessary. So if we can manage the config requirement with these small configurations, let's go ahead and do that. Let's avoid the scripting as much as we can. The scope of the script should be very specific to the item. So we have applies to option, right? And if that is specific to the catalog item, let's always follow this applies to. Avoid any hard coding of sysids. So if we need to maintain or if we need to put any conditions based on the sysids, let's stop putting into the code. There are multiple ways you can maintain it, like you can maintain in the properties and you can call that property values layer. Okay, so please do not put anything, any sysids in the code. Whenever we need to call the server-side data from the form, that point of time we need to use the glad ajax. Glad ajax we will learn once we learn the server-side scripts, because from client script we need to call the server-side script. Okay, here I can give you a quick example. Like if I select the user, and based on that if I want to pull the information of the department, so that we need to pull from the user table, right? That requires a server-side call on our client form, so that whenever, as soon as I select the user, the department should auto-populate. In this case, we should use the glad ajax. So glad ajax makes a call from client side to server side using ajax method, and that's asynchronous method, and we get the required values. So we'll learn it after we understand the server-side script. If we have multiple logic on single field or similar type of actions, we should always group them, because that gives an ease of the maintenance. Okay, catalog UI policies, if you have a clear conditions, use it. Use UI policies to manipulate the variables for visibility, mandatory, and read only. You always use the reverse if false, so that the else part or except part, we need not to write the conditions explicitly. We have to always describe the name and the short descriptions very clearly, so that admin can understand for the future maintainability perspective. That's all for this session. Thank you.